Welcome to the Edge of Greatness podcast.
Let's segue from that for a second, because a lot of my high school athletes, obviously, when they get recruited to go play college, they're used to winning, because good high school athletes who end up getting a chance to play at college typically create pretty solid teams, right? You don't have many elite level athletes go on to play at college that are part of bad teams. That's just the benefit of having a really good player at a high school level. But when they get to college, they don't always get that same success. Have you had any opportunities, or what would you give as far as advice to a young player who's at college and all of a sudden they find themselves struggling with the win department, and it's something that's new to them? They're not really good at bouncing back from losing and being in a failure state.
I would ask them a simple question, because from my experiences, this is something that I really spent a lot of time on. And I would just ask, are you perceiving your success due to your talent or because of your effort?
Okay.
Right. So if all you do is base your self-worth and your successes off the talents you currently possess, you aren't really leaving any room for growth. And so a common one that I'll use is like Venus and Serena, right? Everybody knows who Venus and Serena is.
Right.
And we all know them as masters of their craft. But even them at one point in their life probably lost, right? They started as beginners. And even at the very beginning, maybe they were just started great in their game. I don't really know their story, but at one point in time, they weren't the all-time best. At one point in time, they weren't who they are. And even now, if you see Venus, right, she's kind of still at the top, but hey, she's getting beat a little bit now. So how is she handling that?
Right.
And so you can see some of these other professionals, but I always go back to, again, are you always just going back to your talent or your effort? And so when your success is measured by your effort and the progress that effort has accumulated, then that becomes something you feel you can control, something you can choose to improve on. So it always comes back to our perceptions, is what I like to teach, right? The choices that we can make, the decisions that we continue to make with our game moving on. By focusing on your improvement, by focusing on your progress and eliminating any fixed mindset that you may have and acts of perfectionism, then you encourage your own mastery. And then mastery leads to confidence. Confidence then leads to trying new things then leads to mastering new things. So I would just teach where you have to be open to growth in numerous areas of your game. Okay, so this isn't working. Where else can I grow?
Okay, I like that.
If that makes any sense at all?
Yeah, no, no, absolutely. And I love the idea of it's a perception thing, and where you focus your energy as far as what you're looking at. Because if you're only looking at your talent, your talent can only do so much. But if you're focused on the process of getting better and you're focused on putting yourself out there, because again, anybody who's grown through successes has failed along the way. You're going to have setbacks. That's how growth happens. I mean, that's the biggest thing about pursuing something at a high level. If you stretch your abilities, eventually you're going to have a misstep where you can then learn, right? And if you are constantly just focused on yourself, you're going to miss those opportunities.
Right. And that's where I think too, it's important, because if I say, oh, I'm only talented and I'm basketball, so that's where my mind goes, but I'm only talented as a shooter. Well, now I'm limiting myself in the way that I can play the game, because now I'm going to have that fixed mindset where I'm not going to attack the rim as much. Or I just think as a shooter, so I'm just catch and shoot versus creating for myself or creating for my teammates. Now I'm really limiting my game. Mm-hmm. And then also, if all I focus on is the talent that I currently have, now I'm not giving my mental game a chance to grow, because the way that I see success is all the physical talent that I currently possess. Whereas the mental game, I truly believe, is an accumulation of the experiences that we go through and the things that we fail at, that then kind of plants those seeds of resilience to then add to our mental game later on. Because we failed at that one thing years ago or months ago, whatever it is, hey, that's the seeds of resilience that I'm going to pull from now. And now I'm going to succeed because of that. Because I've already been there, done that. I know how to overcome that specific scenario.
Yeah, I like that because they're all learning opportunities that you can then kind of draw on later when things get tough again.
Thank you for joining us today on the Edge of Greatness podcast. We hope you enjoyed today's episode and join us again next time as we continue to dig deeper into the key components of greatness. The path to greatness is never linear, so remember to keep pursuing greatness no matter what. Keep stretching your abilities, reach for the stars, and fall flat on your face. But no matter what happens, remember, whenever we fall, always get up. Until next time, I'm Charles Schultz, and this was the Edge of Greatness podcast.
Thank you for listening to today's episode. Please take a moment now to subscribe, rate, and review our show. We are all on the edge of greatness.